So that sort of leads me to the next thing I want to talk about, which is sort of the social life, partying, all that. Again, my school was different. We were located downtown. We were a dry campus, which means no alcohol for anyone. And the dorms weren't like classic dorms where people would throw like hall parties like you see in the movies, you know, where like the whole dorm turns into a party. That didn't happen. I don't know if that happens anywhere. I don't know. It didn't happen for me at my place. So I didn't go to a single party. I don't drink. I don't do any form of drug at all. So I wasn't even interested in it, because for me, going to a party is kind of like I just have to sit there and watch people get super wasted and see them act really stupid and lose control of themselves, and then I feel like I'm responsible for them. If they're my friend or something, I'd feel like I had to like make sure they weren't doing anything that was gonna get them hurt or something. People vomit on occasion. That's not fun. A lot of people feel like once you leave home and you're given this freedom, that you should take advantage of it and go crazy. But you actually don't have to do that. Believe it or not, you don't have to go get drunk every weekend or every weekday if you're in college, you know. Really, like, if you aren't interested in drinking and smoking and all that, don't do it. You don't have to do it. I didn't do it. All my friends respect me and love me just the same, even though I don't drink with them. If someone is making you feel like you have to, and it's not always someone saying, oh, you have to drink, or come on, drink, you know, like, it's not always like that. It can just be you feel like you need to in order to fit in. Just know that there are people who don't. One of my close friends from high school, I found out that her and most of her friends that she made up there, none of them drink and party and stuff. You know, she's on a normal college campus and she doesn't do that. So just like keep in mind that if it isn't something you're interested in, you don't have to do it. I know that most everyone does it, and that's fine. If you want to do that, you do you. But for me, I didn't want to, so I didn't. If you don't want to, don't do it. Don't feel like it's gonna make you uncool or a loser, or that you won't have any friends, or you won't have any plans or something. You still will. You're still, all that college will still be great even if you don't drink. It's up to you what you want to do. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that definitely did leave me at home quite often. A lot of weekends, or most weekends, I'd just be at home watching TV, working on homework or YouTube videos or whatever. But that didn't really bother me because I'm very much a homebody. I wanted to be home. I liked when my friends came over to my apartment and hung out there. I like being home. I'm not someone who feels like they need to go out every weekend or something. But a lot of my friends did go out quite often, and so sometimes I would be like, they're all like becoming closer and making all these memories and stuff without me because I didn't want to go to a party or something. So that did suck a lot, actually, because like there would be some weekends where I'd just be like, yep, I'm home alone again, all my friends are out, and yeah. So I mean, that did suck, and I could have gone to the parties and not drank, but like I said, it's just not super fun for me to be around. I don't know, I just feel like there's a message coming from everywhere that when you go to college, you have to go party. Like, that's how you have fun. That's the college life, you know? And while that is your typical college life, typically what you go do, that's not the only option. And I just kind of want to be a little beacon of light. I can't think of a different way to say that, but I just want to like be like, hey, you don't have to do that. If that's not you, if you don't want to do that, totally fine. If you do want to do that, again, like I said earlier, fine. But it's also totally fine to not do that. I feel like nobody ever says that except for your mom, you know? And I just want to be like a 19-year-old saying, hey, it's fine to stay home. If you don't want to party, don't party, you know? I just kind of want to say that because I feel like you often hear the opposite. So, yeah. Oh, I meant to mention this earlier when I was talking about classes, but there's this website that you need to know about, and it's not a secret or anything, but it's like the holy grail, and you need this website. It is called ratemyprofessor, probably like .com, I don't know, you can Google it. But what this website does is when you're going to schedule your courses for the next semester, oftentimes it'll tell you obviously the course name and then who's teaching it. So the reason that is important is because some teachers suck. So oftentimes when you're taking a course, there will be different options of different professors teaching it, because different times, whatnot. So what you want to do is, when you're thinking about taking a course, you want to type in that teacher's name to rate my professor, and maybe include the college name if it needs to differentiate that professor from someone somewhere else. And it will give you student reviews of that professor. It'll give you a rating, like a number rating. It'll tell you if they're hot or not, which is important to some people, I guess. It'll also, there's also like options for students to leave comments. So in those comments, people will be like, oh my gosh, this teacher makes you write so many papers. Or it'll be like, oh, you get no homework, the quizzes are super easy, you're so well prepared. Or it'll be like, hey, she tells you to buy a textbook, but you don't use it at all, don't buy it. You know, so it is so helpful, because that's part of the reason why my year was so easy, because I went and I checked every single teacher, and I looked for the teachers that the students were like, girl, this teacher is amazing, they make it so fun, or this class was so easy, you know. So it's good knowledge to have. It's really, because like, if you don't use it, you could end up with the worst professors. And sometimes you don't have an option, only one person is teaching econ or whatever, and you have to take that class this semester, you're stuck. But if you have options, if you got a little flexibility, work with it, take advantage of it, because you will save yourself probably. Because I had some friends who did not use that website. They got some not so great teachers. I had great teachers. Well, not great teachers. I had easy teachers and some great teachers, but easy teachers. So yeah, it's important. So the last thing that I feel the need to talk about in this video is mental health. Because like you know, college is a huge change. It's a huge adjustment for a lot of people. They're moving away from home. They've got all these new responsibilities, making new friends, all this stuff. You know, college is a big change. It's a good change, but it's a big one. So it can be hard to adjust to. Most, if not all, colleges and universities that I've heard of offer free counseling. So that is super important. If you've got depression or anxiety or an eating disorder or whatever, you can go and get help for free, which is awesome. It's paid for. You pay a lot to go to that school, and that's typically included in the costs you pay. But you don't have to have some mental disorder or something to go see a counselor. If you're just stressed out, if you have a relationship problem, or if you're just like missing home, you can go to a counselor for that. It helps to just have someone to sit down and talk to sometimes. So take advantage of the resources your college offers you. Sometimes they might refer you out to someone that you can see more often, or maybe someone who can provide psychiatry or something, provide different services. That's fine too. Your college is there to help you. You give them so much money. Take advantage of that, you know. So yeah, I just want to really push, like, if you go to college and you start to struggle, go get help. If you just, no one's gonna know, because most people are pretty damn good at hiding what they're feeling. So if you're just laying in bed crying yourself to sleep at night because you're going through all this, no one's gonna know, and no one's gonna be able to help you. So you've got to take that step for yourself. You've got to go get help, okay? Something else I want to offer you guys is a website called BetterHelp. I've talked about it before in another video or two, but I want to talk about it again now, as well as link it below down here, because it's very pertinent, as well as a very great resource that I want you guys to know about. So what it is an online therapy website, which means they offer phone calls, video chatting, live chatting, kind of like back and forth like AIM or like Facebook Messenger or whatever, and then more like an email-like communication, like slower back and forth types communication, with a professional trained counselor. And there used to be a free trial option. There isn't anymore, unfortunately. However, this costs as low as $35 a week. And if you've ever seen a counselor or a therapist, you know that that can cost anywhere from $50 to $200+ for one hour visit. And that is expensive. It can get so expensive, and BetterHelp is a really great, way more affordable option. So regular therapy, you go once a week and you pay a ton of money, right? And you've got to leave your house. But BetterHelp, you can stay in your home. You can talk to your counselor throughout the week. And it's much cheaper than regular counseling. So it's a really great resource. If you guys want to check it out, again, I'm linking it down below. While your college does offer free counseling often, it doesn't always, I think. I feel like there's probably an exception out there, but also you might need more than they can give you, because that counselor might be seeing like a ton of students because there's a limited number of counselors. They're not going to go hire more if there's higher demand. Colleges are stingy like that. So if you feel like you're not getting enough from the counseling that your school provides, maybe you want to look into this, because if you're on a college campus, maybe you can't go out to some like office somewhere and go meet a psychologist out there because you're on a campus in the middle of nowhere. You don't have a car maybe. So if that's something you're interested in, again, just check it out. If you're not in college, you can still check it out. I think it's a really great resource. I used it for a little bit, but counseling just really isn't my thing. I'm not super into talking, but of all the counselors I've tried, that was my favorite experience. I did like the typing instead of sitting face to face with someone. I did like that more. So yeah, I think that that's all I have to talk about. So if you guys have any more college related questions, feel free to leave them down below. I will answer them freely. Again, if you need any more specific advice or like tips and tricks or whatever, feel free to DM me on Twitter or Instagram. I do answer more reliably on Instagram over Twitter, but I try to answer both. So yeah, that is all. Thank you for watching. I know this was kind of long, but thank you for sticking around.